Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Wednesday. So I guess we're back for another Q&A. You guys know how it is. I put up a topic of something that's going on in the VR world right now, but this is always open to a million different questions. They just keep coming in, and I answer them to the best of my ability. But today, I wanted to talk about the Deca Gear and how I like comparing things to the Oculus Quest right now because that's the most popular headset, but they're not similar at all. But we'll get into that. So how's everybody doing today? How's the panel quality? So, okay, I can't answer too many technical questions on the Deca Gear. I am in communication with the company. MRTV had a great live interview, and then he had a summary. So I do recommend you watch those videos if you have a lot of questions. There's still a lot of unknown. The video left me, skeptical. They'll make a May delivery. And they had this prototype, and nothing was really finished product. Here's our finished product. And again, you're 6 months out from suspected delivery. So there's still a couple things up in the air. They haven't decided on their mobile chipset. It's not going to play games natively with their chipset for streaming. They haven't decided on a lot of things. So we'll get into that. Let me just catch up what's going on. All right. Let's see. Yeah, May release. Very, very far-fetched. I'm very skeptical on that. I did speak to the company, and I should hopefully be getting a prototype that I can show you guys at some point in time. So they said prototypes should go out in January. So hopefully in a month or so, I should have more information. They spoke about two different types of lenses. It's an in-house developed lens. They have a lot of really high bar claims, but we'll see what happens. Do you have it in hand? No, I do not. Paradise. I'm skeptical that Deca Gear will deliver on the majority of promises. The May date, I'm skeptical on. 1 millisecond, 1 millimeter variance in tracking technology. They are using inside out. Remember, a giant company like HTC failed at inside out tracking. Facebook has pulled it off extremely well, but then you're going to say, okay, this startup is going to do inside out tracking as well as Facebook, and they're claiming that's even more accurate. I don't know, man. Does it have to be connected to a PC? Okay, so the way the Deca Gear, and I'm just going to put a little tiny picture on screen. 1 second, guys. So this is not the official. This is a rendering of the Deca Gear right here. But this is, the supposed headset, what it'll look like when it releases. And it wasn't supposed to transition like that. Anyway, thank you for following. I might shut these off if they get crazy. But that's supposedly what it's supposed to look like. And it is a PCVR headset. So it will have to be plugged into your PC to work. But they do have a wireless option. For $50, you buy a battery that lasts supposedly 4 hours. And it has a very low-end chip in it. Not a Qualcomm XR2, something that can play games. It just has a very low-end mobile chip that can do video decoding. That has, Wi-Fi 6. They don't know if it's going to be 6E, but it has Wi-Fi 6 chip on it. And it would send over Wi-Fi information to the headset, which then would get decoded. So it has a little tiny chip in it. Low-end. Can't play games natively. You bought a Quest 2, no chance you're buying a new headset. Understandable. Do I think the facial tracking will be implemented in a lot of social games? I think social games, yeah. I think it's pretty likely. If the headset sells at all, they said the SDK is super easy to work with so that people can install it in their game in minutes. If that's true, then sure. But I don't know. Some companies do better than others. B-Haptics is really good with working with developers and games and saying, hey, listen, this is going to up your game. Let's work with you. Let's get it in. And they're doing pretty well. And that seems more complicated. But I can't say for sure. It has finger tracking controllers, so I think you believe it has 96 pressure sensors in the controller, which are going to be able to emulate like the index controller finger tracking. And they said any game that already supports index finger tracking would work with these controllers. I'll wait to I'll wait till I see it to believe it. How beefy of a headset would you need? Well, it's the panels are like the HP G2, but they're at 90 hertz. So you got to think of frames versus resolution. So if the resolution, you're trying to find that balance. If your machine can run the HP Reverb G2, you should be good to go. Because remember, they have a little onboard chip, so it's handling some of the camera processing. Not that processing is, horrendous. But yeah, I mean, it shouldn't need anything much further than what current recommended VR specs are. Any idea how long after an order will Oculus ship a Quest 2? Depends what region you're in right now. There's some areas you can get them right away. Some areas are delayed. So I can't, without a lot more information, I can't answer that. Okay. Let's see. Is the Deca Gear the gear of the decade? I like your wordplay there. Maybe. Paradise Decay. Man, that room. You love commenting on the room. Did you pre-order the Deca Gear? I've been in communication with the company. So, like I said, I might be getting a prototype in January. But I'm in communication with them, so I'm hoping to get a headset. If I have to pay for one, I would only pay for one if I know it's a solid product. Like, if it's not going to work, I'm not paying for one of these headsets. But I'm not, it's not unreasonable that I would consider paying for it. Let's go there. If giants like Valve, HP, Facebook, HTC fail to bring such a product at such a price, it's like a miracle. And you know what? This is why when I first saw the Deca Gear, I said, wait a second. I said, no, this is too good to be true. Is this headset real? And I'm still skeptical. They said in order to hit that $450 price tag, they need to sell a minimum of 5,000 units. If they're selling them, if the prototypes are good and they have some good feedback and the transparency continues and, popular YouTubers say, no, this is a viable product, I think they can get those 5,000 sales. But, I mean, again, like you said, exactly what you said. This is a no-name company, so again, I'm skeptical. Too good to be true, I know. Will Deca Gear kill the Quest 2? Absolutely not. Not a chance. I mean, it's not in the same category. Even if HTC puts out a competitive product, and it looks like they might be, there's been a Vive Focus with an XR2 chipset spotted out in the wild from a benchmark that hit the internet like 2 months back. So they might be making a new Vive Focus, which is their mobile headset, which has the same hardware as the Quest. But HTC is a hardware company. They need to make profit on their hardware. So you would expect it to sell for something like $500, maybe even higher. And then, why would you buy it if it's $200 more than the Quest 2? And at the same time, the reliability of their tracking hasn't it been as good as Facebook? Shut up, computer. Made jingle sounds. The Quest 3 will not support Steam VR. I mean, that's a weird statement. There's a couple avenues to go down to examine that. Now Steam officially claimed to be behind the Deca Gear. That would be a different story. That, so I mean, yes, if Steam said, oh, we've worked with this headset, if it popped up, like we saw the HP Reverb G2 pop up in the Steam store, and it's like, something new is coming, it doesn't compromise, like they did with HP, that would make me say, oh, Steam believes in this, or Valve believes in this, and maybe I should believe in it. Have I dabbled in home 3D printing? No. I've always wanted to. Limitless, what's going on? Sup, dude? Sup? I'm doing good. I'm just chilling, talking to you guys like usual. I got some cool stuff I wanted to show you today, but let's keep the topic going. How is my favorite VR YouTuber? Me? I'm your favorite? Blush. Well, thank you. I'm doing good today. I'm doing good. I've been enjoying these new Q&A sessions. They've been doing pretty good on the channel. You guys seem to like them. It's actually a lot easier for me because I don't have to prep for this stuff. The knowledge is in my head, and I don't mind talking to the screen for 2 hours. And, you guys make the show. You guys come in with all your questions, so you make the show. So this is actually a lot easier than me to do an edited video in the middle of the week because the week is busy. School, kids, yada, yada, work, you name it. Does the Quest 2 have more VR chat options than Quest 1? I'm not sure. I'm not a huge VR chat person. I know that the Quest 1 iteration of VR chat is poop. I don't know if it's been improved for Quest 2. Let's see. It will run smoother and better. Yeah, that's, that would be my assumption. It would just run better. Okay. If it is real, how hard do you think it will be to get? Well, honestly, it's all over. There's so many unknowns with this headset. If it turns out the prototypes come through, the company says they want to be completely transparent. They give a bunch of us YouTubers prototypes, and they're solid devices. And we say, guys, this is legit. I wouldn't lie to you. You guys know my position. This is legit. I think this headset is the future, or this headset is a very, it's a viable option. I've tested the wireless, the touch sensors. Everything's great. Or even if I have a few issues with it, like the move controller, the Deca move is nonsense, or the touch controllers aren't as good as the Index. Even if it has those shortcomings, as long as controller tracking is good enough and the screens don't have any major lens issues, it seems pretty easy to recommend at that price. Come on, we're ready to give up comfort for the Quest. The Fold Quest sucks in terms of comfort. But $300 price tag. So if those things line up and then it gets really popular, I think they'd have supply chain issues, and then I think it'd be a little hard to get. And then maybe they work with someone else, but who knows? Look at Valve. Valve can't keep up with orders, and they're getting way more than 5,000 orders. No, I haven't tested the Deca Gear. I've been in minor communication with the company. MRTV had a nice interview with them. They answered a ton of questions. And I'm hoping to get my prototype in January. Hoping. They said it's a possibility. Originally, they said December, but I'm skeptical on that. Well, I wouldn't say it's, that early. If you're looking at a 4-month difference, people got a prototype HP Reverb G2 about 3 months early. And the only major change was a different lens that was going into the final version. 4 months might be a little early. I'm expecting the prototype to be a little hokey. They're probably the strap won't have the final strap. And it probably won't have an outside casing, the way to make it kind of match the render. But, to match this render they're talking about. So I think that's what you'll see with the prototype, if it's a possibility. But again, like I said, they don't really know which chip they're going for the streaming. There's a lot of unknowns. How is YouTube VR on Quest 2 if you've tried it? That's a great topic, actually, that you mentioned that. So since I've been streaming a lot, guys, I'm actually making a lot of changes to OBS and doing a lot of advanced stuff. And, I figure I can show you guys some of that. So streaming on the Quest is actually a bit of a pain in the butt. So I'll show you some things real fast. Let me let me show you guys how I've been changing some things. This is both of my cameras right there. So you see there's a camera over there in my streaming area. I have this little guy to switch. Why is it? It's not supposed to do that transition, guys. I apologize. The transition is supposed to be. I see what happened. The transition is supposed to be this. So, and it didn't change. But so I have something set up to do custom transitions before all of them. It was working perfectly before the stream, I have these new cool effects when I switch between cameras, but it's decided that it doesn't want to do it anymore. It's just decided officially that, nope, I ain't gonna do it. See, when it goes from like, yeah, see, when it goes from this camera, sorry to just keep clicking stuff on you guys like nuts, but when it goes from this camera to this camera, yeah, that's supposed to be the transition that you see throughout. And it's cool when the cameras move around, but for some reason the transitions changed. I'm not gonna fix it live. Anyway, let's get back on topic here. We're talking about streaming from the Quest. I'll show you that. 2 seconds. So unlike streaming from an index where you can use OVR and you could see the chat and all that stuff, you know, you can wire up your Quest, but I want to do it wirelessly. So I got this wireless mic. This is a Anchor Mod mic. I got that, and I also have software that you can see when I stream. So I could wirelessly send to the computer and you guys can watch that. And I tested it and it works fairly well, but you know, sometimes you'll get some compression issues and the video quality might drop. But you'll probably see an Oculus Quest stream in the near future. So I'm doing a lot of changes. Let's see. And I could actually, you know, go through that one day with you guys. Had they mentioned where their supply chain is at? See, that's another thing. They talked about how they're just now talking about suppliers. And with all the COVID stuff going on and just now talking to suppliers, and that May date feels like a pipe dream. I ever figure out the bot? So the bot, let's see. The bot just drinks a lot. Let's see. He, for whatever reason, refuses to send commands to YouTube. And I went and checked everything, and people said, oh, yeah, we have the same issue. Okay, what's the fix? And I didn't see a fix. So the bot's drunk, and we'll get there one day. Don't see your VR. My VR is over here right now. I have another space on the side. So I moved it over. I mean, if you want to see it. Hi, welcome back. No, that's too far. It's supposed to be something like that. If it doesn't go back to the original spot, I will get the shakes a little bit. So maybe this way a tiny bit. You know, if it's not in the right area, you guys might actually see me, you know, like go tinkle. They're like, just stop playing with the camera. Oh, give me focus. Focus. Follow my face, camera. I gotta shut that focus off. Of course. There we go. Thank you for the focus, camera. Which bot are you using? So I had Nightbot in there. I'm not really using Nightbot anymore. So I have Streamlabs. But for whatever reason, it's like YouTube chat. If I go to the Streamlabs cloud bot and say, hey, let's run a giveaway, it works fine. So it's connecting to my chat, no problem. But for whatever reason, it won't process commands. Chad White, what's going on, man? What's up? Well, thank you. Thank you for following. I appreciate it. Should I buy, okay, Arcana. That question I can answer in 2 seconds. Yes, autofocus shouldn't be on my camera. I know. Anyway, moving on. So should you get an Index or an HTC Vive? You should not buy, if you're talking the original Vive, don't consider it. Okay? Unless someone's giving it to you for like $100, don't move on. Okay? The tech in it is so outdated at this point. The screen door effect is hard. It doesn't come with headphones. It's fairly uncomfortable. Don't get it. I mean, well, if you got it for $100, it's worth it for just the, what's called? Like the base stations that can be used for tracking. But if you have the money, if you can afford $1,000 for an Index, you have a high-end PC, get an Index. I absolutely love mine. VR is making his room look too big. Never too big. I need more room. Let's see. Autofocus was on the camera. Actually, by default, you shouldn't have it. I don't have money. Well, I mean, I've been there. I think everybody's there at one point in time. Listen, that's why as much as I have issues with the Facebook stuff, why I still recommend the Oculus Quest 2. If we're just going to talk about it objectively and say what you get for $300, I mean, it's solid. I mean, you get a good device for $300. Robo, what's up? Welcome to the stream. And if you want to upgrade, so the light boxes are good if you, having the base station. So if you get a super cheap, like Vive or something, like super cheap, it's good just for the base stations because those things cost $100 each. And sometimes they're in short supply. Okay. Make this stream in VR chat. I considered it. I'm not a big VR chat guy. I also, honestly, to be 100% honest with you, this has been working. I'm very comfortable with this. I'd have to get comfortable with VR chat. I'm doing a lot of cool, effects for the stream and stuff that I'm setting up through OBS. And overall, I kind of enjoy the scenario. Plus, if I do the whole VR chat, I feel like I'm copying off of other people. And I just don't want to do that. I don't want to... I don't want to do that. Make sense? I hope that makes sense. It should make sense. I'm looking at my move transitions, wondering why they didn't change, why the default is off. I wonder if since I changed it during the stream, it didn't take. I don't know. We'll figure it out next time. Do you have a Deca Gear? No. I mean, the question's going to keep coming in throughout the stream, which is fine. I might be getting a prototype from the company. I've had some communication with them. I'm hoping to have a prototype and show you guys, but I don't have one yet. There's no finished product for the Deca Gear just yet. Okay. So, I mean, if you want to do just PCVR, the Quest 2 is actually still it's still a really good headset for PCVR, especially because just with that price tag, man. How's the mic quality on the Quest 2? It's okay. It's nothing special. Like, everything on the Quest 2 is just good enough. Besides the screens. But again, we discussed a lot of this in a previous video. The LCD panel is high quality. However, it doesn't affect the overall quality of the games because it's still limited by the mobile hardware. So you're not going to get that full resolution. You'll have low quality textures. Games might use foveated rendering. So you have a whole bunch of scenarios like that. Sorry, I'm just going to just a little, bear with me. That feels better. I don't know why. Probably not where I want it. Is the Elite strap worth it? Yeah, so they actually stopped selling the Elite strap for a short period of time right now, just to inspect to see if there is actually something happening, if there was like a production run defect. My buddy Eric for President just recently did a stress test on his. I did mine. I talked about it in one video. I tried to, snap this thing, and I put it on my head and just went, that click sounds so annoying. I went as tight as I can go, and then I started the headbang, and then I just pulled it off my head, not thinking, and it survived. So, it was a pretty decent stress test. Eric beat the crap out of his, and it didn't snap. So maybe there was a product line defect, or it's the shape of your head or something that's, causing them to snap, or bad luck. When do I think Valve will make a revision to the index? So they don't need to right now. Basically what's going on right now is they can barely keep up with the demand of their original one. But I'm sure they're working on something. Again, you don't want to make a $1,000 headset and then replace it a year later. It's bad optics, but maybe they'll do it. I don't know. Some people are like, I'm reading awesome.exe has stopped. So some people are like, you have to respond. Valve, you got to respond to the Quest. You got to respond. And it's like, no, they don't. No, do you know who Valve is? They don't have to. Okay. Okay. I've read that the Rift S has HRD and the Quest 2 does not. HDR, high dynamic range. So the no, I think no, the Rift S is also an LCD panel. The Quest is the one with the OLED panel. Here's the thing that a lot of people talk about that washed out blacks and stuff, and I'll say this on 1,000 separate streams. Color is an interpretation. It happens in your brain. We all see color a little bit differently. That's why that whole "what color is the dress" thing happened a few years ago. Is it white and gold? Is it black and blue? I was one of the people who saw it incorrectly because you can actually, scan the image and put it through Photoshop, and Photoshop will tell you what the color values are. So I was one of the people who saw it incorrectly, and black levels do not, it doesn't impact me. I can look at the OLED screen and be like, oh yeah, that's darker. And then I could look at the LCD and be like, that's a little washed out. Some places. And glare, I'm not really susceptible to glare either, so it is what it is. Is there a release date for 90 hertz? I'm not sure. Again, I do 10% of my gaming on the Quest 2 and 90% on the Valve Index. So I'm 120 hertz all the time. What's a good PCVR that can moved on me? That can run Boneworks, Pavlov, etc. Pavlov, you don't need a high-end machine. You don't need too high-end of a machine. Boneworks gets a little CPU dependent because of all the physics. But, I mean, generally these days you want a fairly high-end CPU. I'm not, I'm going to get more up-to-date on AMD, but I've been historically Intel. I've switched back and forth over the years, but, I used to be price versus performance. So you want a fairly recent, within the last 3 generations, mid to higher end CPU. So, something that boosts in the, mid 4 range CPU. Then, a high-end Core i5 or, i7 from within at least the last few years. You want 16 gigs of RAM, and you want, I would say, at least a 2060. So RTX 2060. Then you can play any game out there. Will you be able to crank it all the way up? Will you be able to run 120 hertz? Not every game, no. But that's gonna be beautiful. That's my recommendation. Facebook will ban you if you're not active, possibly if you go dead forever. Sony has been disappointing when it comes to PlayStation VR. Totally, I'm trying to catch up on the chat, guys. Does Deca have a built-in audio solution? Yes, there's 2 mics. Your PC is what makes your games fast. Correct, unless you're using a Quest. And then then you have the Oculus Link and some impact there. A side quest can enable 90 hertz. Yep, you could do it right now. However, it doesn't work in all games. And originally there were some games that kind of crashed if you did it. So I've just been waiting for the official one. Do I play flat games? Yes. The last flat game I was playing was, I think, Marvel. But I've got to stop Baldur's Gate 3. I'm waiting for official release on that. I don't want to do... I heard the early access is just, quirky as all hell. I will play Cyberpunk when it comes out. I actually, I love flat games. I play everything. PlayStation, Xbox, you name it. Link cable's also in beta. Is it link cable's link cable. Okay. Oh, so the 90 hertz resets every time you reboot the headset? Nice. I find my Quest 2 more finicky than my original Quest. I've rebooted this thing 20 times already. So, let's see. I talked about Sony for a second there. They said that VR won't be important for, a main part of the gaming for a couple of years to come, and there's no rush on the PlayStation VR 2. I think that all comes down to money. That's it. Your pal, what's going on, buddy? How you doing? I'm catching up. I'm about 2 minutes late on you saying hello. Okay, how do you make a Steam account? I don't know. So I actually didn't get my PlayStation 5 yet. I'll probably get the adapter. I barely do any PlayStation VR gaming anyway. And, you have to do PlayStation 4 compatibility, and it's not enhancing the games. Said. Should I buy a 3070 or 3080 for VR? So a 1080 is bottom, It'll probably play anything you throw at it, but I think you should have a little bit more oomph than a 1080. I said 260 or 2060 or higher. 3070, 3080 comes down to your budget. I haven't done the price for performance on those, so I don't want to make a direct recommendation to you. Do you think that Quest will end up being yearly release? I hope not. What graphics card do you need for Oculus Quest 2? For the Link, the higher the better. I mean, the high, you're not going to get the same performance as you would with a straight PCVR headset, but if you but you'll get close to. There's video compression, blah 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 blah. But you want basically the same specs I've said. You've got a 1660 Super, you're good. 1660 Super is basically, performance-wise close to the 2060 with no ray tracing. Can I see your Oculus? There it is. My Oculus? That sounds kinky. With a J in it. Oculus J. Hey, gotta buy me a drink first. Do you really need a good GPU for PCVR? Need, want, somewhere in between there. You need a bit higher end. There are definitely still people using a 9080 and playing. Beat Saber's gonna run perfectly and look better than than the Quest 2. So do you need? I say, listen, you want to get a 90 hertz game, looks good, game runs smooth, any modern game. That's the specs I'm giving you. Can you get away with much lower? Yeah, but there might be some new game that, runs horrendous for you. The 3080 Ti specs just leaked. Okay. Why do I hope it's not a yearly release? I feel like that's just not good for VR in general. I'm kind of against yearly releases. One of the things why people want to adopt VR, they're like, why would I get that one? 9 months from now, there's going to be a better one. And, that's true. If you go just the last 4 years and you compare this thing for $300 to the double the price HTC Vive for $600, that thing's a pain to set up, was quirky as hell, had no audio, no mic, looked like crap, and this thing's a million times better, and it's only been 4 years, and it's mobile. So come on. My room is nice. Thank you, Lucas. Thank you. Okay, let's see. 1070. So, okay, 1070 is min for Fallout VR. I believe a 1080 was the minimum for Hellblade. So that's why I'm, in this spec range, guys. And even I ran Hellblade with a 1080 Ti, and I wasn't satisfied with my performance. I put the game down to medium. I'm very, I get very annoyed at, just FPS drops. But one thing I noticed in VR, right now I'm throwing a 9900K and an RTX 3090 at my VR games. And they are 99%, 120. I like to run it at 120, not 144 for multiple reasons. 120 hertz constantly, 99% of the time, with occasional dips because it taxes your CPU or something. So those occasional dips piss me off. So there's no hardware that's going to get you butter smooth, 100% of the time. But if you're not susceptible, you won't notice or you don't care or whatever the case is. Let's see. Do I recommend the Quest 2 over the Rift 2? I assume you mean Rift S. Solely for PC playing. I have a 2080 Super. So honestly, this comes up a couple times, this question. The specs in the Quest 2 are better than the Rift S. It's got a better LCD panel. You have at least some adjustment for IPD. The Rift S is probably more comfortable, but this is good. Plus, you get mobile gaming. But we're only talking about PC VR gaming. You're gonna have to use the Link, which is gonna add some latency. So if you're doing a lot of competitive gaming, you might notice it and it might piss you off. It's like competitive gamers will keep their game at 1080p, 240 frames per second. They don't need all the visual bells and whistles. They just want the performance so they can game to the max. So if you don't want that latency, maybe Rift S. But again, price-wise, I don't know. I'd go with the Quest 2. And nothing's There's nothing, everything's gray in my world. I try and give you, scenarios where you fit into and be as objective as possible and not just go my straight opinion, try and give you the reasoning behind it. But, that's the way we're living. Bullhammer, yo, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream, buddy. And then, there's the whole, do you want to avoid Facebook? I always say to people, hey, listen, the Quest, if you have no issue with Facebook, Quest 2 is a great headset. What do you think of PSVR? I'm sad with the current state of PSVR because it doesn't look like we're getting a new headset anytime soon. They're not doing anything special for the PlayStation 5 to make older VR games run better. You have to use backwards compatibility. Some games might not even work. And so I'm not really happy with what's going on for PSVR. Let's see. When's the Deca Gear release? Let's say May 2021 with 75 question marks around it. I have a RX 5700 and a Ryzen 5 2600. In the climb, my FPS drops to 35 randomly. Then back up to 72. That is freaking annoying. And for some people, that's Vomit City. What's favorite Windows Mixed Reality HMD? I honestly don't have much experience with Windows Mixed Reality. I want to get my hands on a Reverb G2. I might, but we'll see what happens. I answered the Deca Gear release. Yeah, they're shooting for May 2021. Yeah. Deca Gear, I believe, has speakers built in. Definitely has mics. Let's say yes. I'd have to check. Is the Quest 2 an upgrade from PSVR? I say yes. I say it definitely is. Yes, if you want me to elaborate, I will. How does the Link compare to normal PCVR headsets? It does a fairly good job. So the Link connects over USB, and basically it sends compressed video, and you send information about the orientation of the headset back to the computer, and then it uses time warp and all this yada yada stuff. You like the yada yadas, right? But anyway, there is a little bit of latency added because you are compressing the video, sending it to the headset, and the headset has to decompress it. So there's latency there, which isn't too much. Depending on your hardware, some hardware doesn't do that compression as well. The Quest is always going to do the decompression the same speed because everyone has the same headset. And then you might get artifacts. So like if your computer has trouble keeping up with that compression ratio, you'll have encoding errors. So you might get, kind of like when your stream breaks up, you get a little pixely, stuff like that. So it won't look as good. Quality might be reduced. There's also a little extra overhead. So you need a little bit better hardware, and some hardware works better than others to get the same quality compared to using a PCVR headset. But for the most part, I think it works really, really well. Rift S or Quest 2, because I want to buy a VR headset, and I have a really good PC. Well, do you care about the extra features? Well, okay, let me just say Quest 2. I kind of went into the reasons already. Magma, hey, what's up? Matteo. Oh, Matto is what it looks like you wrote. But someone was giving me crap about my name. And they're like, you don't say Matteo. That's not how you pronounce it. And I'm like, no, but it's an Italian name, and it's pronounced Matteo. And they're like, no, you're speaking English, though. But it's a name. Names don't count. Anyway. Maybe you answered this, but do you know anything about the new jailbreak for the Quest 2? We did a full video. I don't know what ding, ding, ding. Oh, I know it. Ding, ding, ding. Let me get rid of that sound. We did a full video last week on the jailbreak. I went on for 2 hours. I discussed the jailbreak nonstop. And, I would say rewatch that video, but again, it goes like this, where I just start answering random questions. But yeah, I know something. If you have a specific question, you can throw it out there. If you're using Steam VR only, the Deca Gear would be a good option there because it also has built-in wireless. Would you recommend the Blue Yeti X microphone? I'm using a Blue Yeti right here. I'm happy with it, but I think there might be better options right now. I want to say like the, if you're not going to go XLR, which is the high-end mics, what is it, the Wave 3 or something? I got to look it up. Again, not everything stays in my brain. Okay, I'm a solo guy, so the latency is fine. Can I ask, how does the image hold up? Do you have it locked to VSync to deter tearing? So let's see. Let me stop and think about that. I'm pretty sure that I'm just thinking about my valve index. My valve index never runs over 120 frames. I heard that if you run it at 144, you can get some tearing. I don't run it at 144 because I record video and I want that ratio of 60 because I do 60 FPS recording. So 120 is half. Well, 60 is half of 120. Math. So I don't get any tearing there. It's most likely using a VSync. But when you're at 120 frames per second, what is that? 3 point something milliseconds per frames? No. 6 point something? Yeah, around, no, 7 point something. Anyway, math is tough. Jeez. So you're at 8 point something. Jesus. Okay, so divided by 120, and we're looking at 8.3 milliseconds per frame. I mean, I think it's fine. I understand if you're a competitive gamer, you don't want to wait for any frame, but that's getting a little excessive. Like that's getting really excessive there. Math was tough there. Sorry, guys. So the bot has never responded to YouTube chat. Always responds to Twitch chat, Darth, but he responds to giveaways. So he is reading the chat. I just don't know why he doesn't respond to commands. Someone said shut the bot off, re-add him. I did that, made no difference. Okay. Yeah, so 144, it would be great. The only reason why I just don't like to change, the refresh rate. I like to lock in my settings and forget about it. But, there is, and again, I said why I prefer 120 over 144. But, yes, the higher you go, the better. Let's see. Can you do it through Type-C or USB? I must have missed the beginning of that. I apologize. Hey, person. Hi, person. What's up? Okay, this may be obvious, but with the new AMD cards with USB 3 ports, allow better bandwidth over the link cable. The bandwidth is usually restricted by the cable itself. Now, there was originally going to be a standard called virtual link, I think it was called, which would be, so some video cards for a hot minute, the 20 series on RTX, had USB-C adapters. And a lot of companies were pushing this standard. And Valve, from their testing, said it just wasn't more reliable, had more issues. So, I mean, you consider it as a high-quality USB port, the ones that are on the AMD, but I don't expect them to perform better. Maybe they will, because AMD's doing a lot of proprietary stuff these days, like, use our GPU in conjunction with our CPU and get better performance. So maybe, but again, usually the bandwidth limitation just comes down to the cable itself. Is the Deca better than the Quest 2? They're completely different headsets. One's a mobile headset. One is a Steam VR headset. The Deca is not even a finished product, so you need to get it on hand and test it. But it has features no other headset has. If you're a PC person, yes, it would be a better headset for PCVR. Jedi Gil, what's going on? Is that the Jedi I've known from a long time ago? Is that the same Jedi? I think it is. Yeah, so I was doing time per frame. So 120 frames per second, you end up how many milliseconds between each frame? Get what I'm saying? So that's the numbers I was crunching there. So like, are you gonna notice the difference between like, do you want to shut off VSync and have potential frame inconsistency? So you get a frame in 4 milliseconds, the next one comes in 8, next one comes in 6, next one comes in 8. Potential frame inconsistency, which can result in screen tearing, which is better for competitive gaming sometimes because you're getting the most up-to-date information. But are you really going to notice the difference between 4 milliseconds is what I'm saying. What's up, Jedi? Long time. And now you understand the madness that was going on inside my brain. What? No? Huh? What? Okay. What is a good cable that's certified in 3.1 USB? So there's a whole bunch of third-party ones on Amazon. Anchor makes a cable. I think that one's only 10 feet, but it's super cheap. So that's a good consideration. I have one. Kiwi makes one that I tested. Worked completely fine. That's 15 feet. Or, what is that? 5 meters? 5 meters? No. 5 is 3. Yeah, I guess around that because they're 16 feet. Elliot, don't do jib jabba because that's a good way to get yourself banned. Let's see. Did you pre-order the Deca Gear? I'm in communication with the company and I'm hoping to get a prototype. They originally said December, but it looks like January. I'm hoping to get a prototype. I put the $10 down before I spoke to them, but I'm hoping to get a headset. If I have to pay for one, if it's a good headset, I will. Any good VR games on Microsoft Store that are playable only on Windows Mixed Reality? Not that I'm aware of. Okay. So you have an OG link, but you still get compression over it. I hope the bandwidth gets improved. So Peter, the compression might come down to, your GPU struggling to maintain the encoding. There's also debug tools in there that you can play around with. And also the Oculus app now, the desktop Oculus app, tells you the speed of your USB. So you just test it and see if you're seeing any issues there. So if there's a USB port issue. Yeah, 5 meters, 16 feet. Yeah. Yeah, it's 3 1/3. So, yeah, 3. Again, you guys are going to be like, what's he saying? He's just throwing out numbers. Meters to feet. So 1 meter is 3 1/3 feet. What have you been playing? I've been playing I Expect You to Die. Love it. I'm the Dumbest Spy. It's a great game. Ton of fun. Would the Quest cable work for Quest 2? Do you mean the charging cable or the original link cable? The link cable will definitely work. The charging cable will work like total poop, but it will work. Do you have a favorite Rec Room mini game? I mean, I haven't played Rec Room in a long time, but I do always recommend it. I thought it was fantastic. I loved laser tag when I first started playing laser tag. I think the quests are great, but if you said, what's your favorite? No, not really. Someone even emulated the index controls with Leap Motion. It's a hand tracking camera system. Hey, Marco, what's going on, man? Yeah, one of the best things, though, is you need that tactile feedback. I tried playing Population 1 the other day with these controllers, and even though the index controllers aren't something that's really supported, I just like the feel of my index controllers better. So the Deca does have eye tracking. However, it's not full eye tracking. So you wouldn't be able to do it for like dynamic foveated rendering, or even dynamic super sampling. You wouldn't be able to use it for that. It kind of just tracks your pupil direction. It's very simplistic tracking. So it would just kind of in-game make your eyes move in the right direction. But it really can't specify where on the screen you're looking at. Okay. How many dead bodies do you have in the airlock? So it's funny. I wish my dopey bot commands were working. But the airlock comes up every time. I put my elbow through the door playing Swords of Gura. I literally put my elbow right through the door, made a big hole. And that was the way I decided to fix it, by putting, it's a sticky. I got the sticky on Etsy. So that's how I decided to fix it, by putting a sticky over it. And I think it looks legit. Thank you. Try easy. So I think it looks legit, but that's my server closet. So I have a cutout. I wish I can show you. You know what? Do you guys want to try something fun with me? You guys want to try something? Let's see if this works. Okay? When I say let's see if this works, something's going to break. Okay? But let's try this. Just going to jump this over here. I'm going to put this on for a second. Ah, it's too tight for me playing with it. Okay, let me just cast. Okay, I'm going to confirm my Guardian. Yep, Guardian's perfect. Stationary boundary. I do like how you can use your hands right off the bat. Share, and we're going to cast. We're going to cast to my computer. And we're casting, and you guys are loving it. Headset has started casting. All right, cool. So let me show you guys something. OBS VR Quest. Let's see. All right, cool. That came in. So you guys can see. I'm going to pass through, and I'll give you guys a up. This pass through coming in. You guys can't see the pass through. Oh, well, that sucks. So much for that. You can see that, but you can't see pass through. Let me give it one more try. No, you can't. Pass through doesn't come in. Pass through doesn't come in. I'm just realizing you probably weren't able to hear me that whole time. Yeah, pass through doesn't work. So I wanted to use it to put you on a virtual tour of my room. Echoing. So that was, it's possible I had 7 mics on. I had something wrong. This is just a new setting I'm playing around with to do Quest streaming. Okay? Oh, for privacy reasons it doesn't work? Okay. Let's see. So yeah, I can, Oculus mirror. That makes sense. I thought it would work, just the way I'm using it. But yeah, you're right. It's doing, I'm just casting. It's using the casting method. Best YouTube is when I break stuff. That's when things are the best, right, guys? I'm kind of trying to, I'm still a little frustrated that my, my screen transitions decided to commit suicide on me. But let's see. I really wanted to show you guys a few more things I'm working on. But every time I see the wrong screen transition pop up, like my head wants to explode. It's supposed to do this really nice transition between screens. But instead, this one is coming up every single time. But anyway, guys, that's the rest of my room. I'm probably adding my DLSR. And I have a stand. You can probably see it. Watch. You can probably see it right there. So I'm probably going to do that. And I actually updated my area for the green screen. Let's see. So the green screen, so a lot of times when I'm showing the screen, guys, you're watching like this. That's where I showed off a couple times. We've joked about the bathroom camera a couple times, which ends up being this camera right here. But I've modified it so that I can switch between that camera with settings for green screen. So right now, if I was to put a green screen in front of this, it would turn transparent. It's configured for that. But if we go back to some of the other screens, like let's see right here. See, that's the same screen, but you see how it's not cropped? So I've been doing a lot of changes. So because Friday we're going to be doing a game stream. Thank you, Limitless. Yeah, so that's the same camera, which is one section it's cropped and another it's not. Oh, the VR Awards poster. You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. Let me show you guys this. I said I wanted to show you guys some stuff today, and then we'll get back on topic. I'll answer your questions. Game stream, whoop whoop. Yeah, what's going on, Grumpy? When did you slide in here? Guys, go check out Grumpy. Awesome dude. Let me show you something cool. All right, I got something else cool for you guys. All right, some of you may know, I mean, most of my content is on it's YouTube videos, pre-recorded. But I made this image for my VR YouTuber Awards. And I just got it. I was concerned about the print quality, how it was going to come in. But if you can see, this is made up of hundreds of other little pictures of all other fellow YouTubers. So I am selling these on Teespring, but I don't care if you buy them or not. I mean, it'd be cool if you want one, buy them. But I wanted it for myself, and I think it's awesome. The print quality came out awesome. Let me get up close. See, we can see Eric for president, Alex VR. We got Steve Nose up in there, Skiva, Grumpy. You are in here somewhere. There's plenty of people. Soul Guard, Kaz and Cherry, Rendered Reality. I just had it on the floor, guys, because it was wound up. So yeah, I mean, I hope you guys think that's cool. I think it's freaking fantastic. All right, let's see. All right, so the questions pause for 2 seconds. Awesome. If Deca Gear isn't supposed to replace the Index, I wonder how long it will be till an Index upgrade is released. So we talked about. What just chimed? My head wants to explode when something chimed. We talked about, let's see. We talked about Valve not needing to make any moves and probably not wanting to come out with a headset, every year. They could barely keep up with the production run right now. So I don't know. I don't know about a new Valve Index coming soon. I think they should just release wireless for the thing. Get a really amazing standard wireless working. Valve standalone, I do not see happening. I mean, their ecosystem is primarily on Windows. You're not going to get Windows running on a standalone. There's too much overhead. Maybe they do Linux, but I don't see it. I don't see it happening. How is the pulley system with Quest Link? Will it work, and how far will it go? Works great. I mean, I don't use it a ton because I talk about how I'm very rigid in certain games. If it's a melee fighting game I'm playing or a game that makes me run around the room, then I'll use it. But a lot of times I'm not using it. But it goes. Watch, I'll show you. It goes further than my room. So the way I have my pulley system set up, with the 3-to-1, it literally goes longer than my cable. So, can a 10-year-old wear a Oculus Quest 2? They can physically wear one. I've put the thing on my 6-year-old's head. Can they own a Facebook account? No. Should they be using one? No, they should be a little older. The difference between Vive Pro and Vive Pro I. Vive Pro I is it's not a consumer level product. It's enterprise level. It's the Vive Pro with additional eye tracking. Ta-da! And I don't know, a couple $100 is the difference. So I hope I answered that pulley system question. Let's see. Mr. Trinidad, you never have to apologize for being late, my friend. You arrived exactly when you were supposed to. How's that sound? Sounds good to me, right? But we were talking about, we're kind of... Okay, Reverb, G2, Omnicep versus Deca Gear. Okay, so they're actually similar in some ways. Deca Gear brings different stuff to the table. Reverb also has different stuff that it brings to the table. My OCD is kicking in. I was seeing the camera in the frame. So the the Omnicept G2 is again targeted as a tool to developers to get feedback on users. It's an enterprise level product. It's not aimed at consumers. The Deca Gear is aimed at consumers with more game friendly, tools built in, which would be this hip based tracking. Let me jump over here. I'm gonna get mad that hey, it did the right transition. Okay, so let me show you some of the stuff that's in here. All right. So face flow. So this is two tracking cameras. I talked about the eye tracking, but it's just like general pupil. It doesn't really know where you're looking at the screen. So it's a very simplistic tracking. And then there's a lower camera for tracking your mouth. So it should be able to add immersion in video games. Let's see. This is the lower camera I was talking about. They give you a little example. I thought it looked creepy. This is a direct blow at Facebook right here. It's like, hey, face flow equals privacy. We're not going to do what Facebook does. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. This is the Deca Move. This is a little device that they will consider selling separately. It will strap onto your hip. It will know the orientation of your hip. And what it changes, the FOV is 114 degrees. I didn't want to forget. What it changes in terms of movement is, so right now the two standard ways for moving around in a game are, you could do controller based. So say I'm pressing forward. I'm physically pressing forward on the controller. If I point it, that becomes forward. So like if I had a gun in this hand, wanted to continue moving forward but shoot at a guy this way, I kind of can't because I'll start moving that way. The other method is head tracked. So forward becomes wherever you're looking. So if I wanted to shoot the guy in the left, look to the right, but move this way, I can't press forward. Now, technically, you could press to the side, but the second you start moving your head, your orientation changes. The same with the second you move your arm. So this hip-based tracking would allow this extra maneuverability. You point your hip this way, it knows your stance, it knows you want to walk that way, you could shoot that way and look this way and just be John Wick. That type of badass stuff. In theory, maybe it's cool, maybe it's not. I can't tell you. Okay. These are the controllers that we were talking about. So they have like 96 pressure sensors in them. And supposedly any game that already works with the index controllers for full finger tracking would work with these. Now, this is all renders. So, and then this is up to par with the HP Reverb G2 when it comes to clarity. 90 hertz, and they said the FOV is currently 114, but they might change the lens, which makes it potentially 120. Okay, let's see. With all the updates you can do to improve resolution hertz, would you go with virtual desktop or Link? Honestly, at this point, probably virtual desktop, because the latency is becoming about the same, and I much rather, if you have the network that supports low latency, I much rather have the wireless freedom. So why the hell not? Plus, the Link can sometimes be annoying. You plug it in, you go, like, the interface changes. Anyway, I know they're going to meld the interfaces, but virtual desktop is, for the $20 and getting the side quest version, totally worth it. So this is the inside out, tracking. 1 millimeter precision. There was a study on precision not too long ago that said, like, the Cosmos was terrible. And when it comes down to, sometimes the Cosmos in tracking was as off as far as 5 millimeters continually. And sometimes it jumped. Like, for half a second, it was like 10 millimeters off. 1 millimeter precision is pretty freaking impressive. This is their wireless capability. Let's see. The Deca Gear does seem like a good deal. It's just like, it just comes down to, like, can they really pull this off? If they could pull off everything they're promising, it's awesome. Let's see. Yeah, it sounds too good to be true. Exactly, Blitz. Okay, so what works with all your Steam games? I mean, they did work with Valve. Valve confirmed that they did work with them with regard to this headset. What does that really mean? It could have just been, it could have just been actual, what's it called? Like, just the lens in a pair of almost goggles hooked up to the machine, and they got it running VR. Like, it doesn't, just because Valve confirmed that they work with them doesn't really mean much. Okay, so this is the Deca Air. So it's a $50 battery that lasts up to 6 hours. You would plug it in, and then there's a chip inside the headset, not like an XR2 chip found in the Quest. It's a very simple, probably like a $30 chip if you bought it on a consumer level. If you bought it, if you like got it mass produced, they'd probably be giving them you for dirt cheap. And all it needs to do is the video decoding. So Steam sends the information over Wi-Fi, just like virtual desktop. They said the latency is between 25 and 35 milliseconds, which depending on your network. Virtual desktop's a little bit better. Let's say. So all the games, and that's it. And then you could pre-order it. You could lock one in for only $10. So the website comes across as very professional. The same could not be said about the MRT interview. And I will agree with you there. And he even brought that up. He said, there's a separation between like what is you can reserve it for $10, not get it for $10, Darth. So I mean, MRTV, he brought that up. He said the website is like a fairy tale land compared to what you guys really have in your hands right now. And I mean, they talked about wanting to build for the future. You want to put your best foot forward, and when you're doing a presentation, you want to say, hey, this is what we plan to bring. And I understand that. I understand the business aspect of it. I understand, a couple scenarios there. But I feel like there's a big separation between where they're at right now and what that website is. I agree. Bottom line, Quest or Deca Gear, they're completely separate. If you have an interest in mobile gaming, you want to take your games on the go, then your only option is the Quest 2. But if you're a PCVR person and want all these bells and whistles and cool features, if they deliver what they're promising, it's a no-brainer. It's a great headset. You know what, Paradise? I kind of feel that way too. Like the $10 is paying for their research and development. I mean, not for nothing. They're doing the interview and they're like, okay, let's go to our guy doing the camera tracking right now. And I look at the dude and he looks like he's like, 12. No offense to people who look younger than they are. I always talk about I'm 40 here and people tell me I don't look that age. But no offense to people who may look younger than they are, but I'm like, this is the guy running your camera, tracking technology. Facebook probably has a room full of engineers, like 100 of them. Let's see. So the window mixed reality software is just bad. It makes my PC have a stroke. That sucks. So they admitted it's going towards R&D. Okay, I mean, I would assume that. Like, I wouldn't even I'd be like, yeah, this is going to their immediate needs. I wouldn't question that. Like, I wasn't even wouldn't even ask because it's happening. And I would even think, oh, some companies will deny that. I look about 26. That's bull. I'm not. I got a couple grays. I'm not getting them up here. I got good hair genes, but I get a couple gray in here. It's very simplistic eye tracking, yes. Yeah, so their preview looked creepy, but so here's the thing. I mean, they might be amazing hardware developers, and that just doesn't translate into making good preview videos. There's some great VR games out there that like the intro, because it's an indie game and it's done in-house, and you watch the trailer and you're like, this game looks terrible. Then you see other games that have this amazing trailer and you're like, I got to try that. Like Crunch Element had some fantastic trailers, and I tried it, and there was like, I mean, obviously it's still really early access, but there was nothing to it. There was absolutely nothing to it, and I was like, wow, trailer here, product here. Thought I was 19. Yeah, I wish. What camera are you using? I'm using a Brio. So that's the Logitech Brio up there. And I have a Logitech C930 up there, which doesn't want to focus too well. But it's up there. That's the camera I'm using. Yeah, and then I talked about I'm gonna set up my Canon M50, my DSLR with a cam link, and put it right over there for just higher quality when I stream. I did set up, if you see, let me get my finger there. There's a hook. So I put in hooks for a green screen. I have a really big green screen. I'll drop it in that area. We're already configured for a green screen. So that would be it right there. It would come all green screen. So this would be all transparent. So if I was like, so this would be green screen. Hey, welcome back. Let's see. Yeah, I've been trying to do a lot of stuff since I'm going to be streaming every week. You'll probably see changes and upgrades to the stream every single week. I'll be doing those stuff. I don't like that I'm not centered. So that's one thing. I'm going to be cropping the camera. I'm going to be centered, and I want to put a border with some type of background on. Not big, not crazy, not a million things flashing like follow here and the newest follower and my sub goal. And I don't need all that nonsense. Okay? It's just me and you. It's kind of intimate, guys. Just us. But I do want to jazz it up a little bit. The non-centered is getting to me. Okay. Biden 2020. Let's not get political up in here. Grumpy, thank you, my man. Thank you. I appreciate it. I work hard. It's just time. It's just time and effort trying to make it better. Just a simple overlay. Yeah, so I want to do a border, which is almost the entire screen. Slight animation on it, and then like a background with some like blurred effect. And I have some stuff in mind. I'll fix my transitions because they're not all transitioning correctly. And then I'm going to do some wacky stuff over time. What headsets do you use? Okay, I've owned 9. Currently, I use the Quest 2 about 10% of the time, and the Valve Index about 90% of the time. That's basically it. I have a Rift S right here. I have a PlayStation VR. I have my original Quest. And I got rid of all my HTC products because they stink and should burn in a fire. But I use my PlayStation VR whenever there's like a must-have PlayStation exclusive. And that's it. So let's see. Artists recognize top right as best focal point. Oh, to be in the top right for like when you stream and stuff. I mean, listen, gonna be a million changes over time. I'll probably make you guys crazy. What was I gonna say? There was something else I was gonna say though in reference to something. Is it possible the Facebook requirement will be rolled back once every YouTuber will endorse the Deca? No. First off, so this is a much more consumer product in terms of like this starts to cut into like people getting the Xbox and PlayStation, people getting traditional consoles. PC gaming always stands in its own like, I don't want to say PC master race, elitist, type of scenario. But it always kind of stands in its own world where people want to do wacky stuff, want to do cutting edge, want to mod hardware overclocking. So it's like it's a playground to be able to do the best or take a really dinky machine and somehow get it to run. So PC stays in its like own special lane. and Deca Gear is a PCVR headset, so it will never really cut into the Quest like that. I am a VR enthusiast. I mean, I also run this channel, so. Let's see. Side Quest features free games, yes, from VR developers that you cannot get in the Quest store. Yep. Listen to Paradise. He's a very smart guy. And if I haven't said this, I know I do it sometimes randomly. Never take offense, guys. Paradise is a great YouTuber. Go sub his channel right now. He does, so he games on PlayStation VR. He games on Quest. And he also does, he uses this product a lot called VorpX, which will take a flat game and make it work in VR. And so he has a ton of experience. People always ask me on that, and I literally always link them to your channel, man. When people ask about that, I'm like, I haven't used it. I don't know. In the beginning, people said it wasn't great, but I know he uses it all the time, so check it out. Nice movie setup. Yep, that's the movie setup. Got a nice projector there, some chairs, electric chairs that pull out. We're also going to fancy up the place, guys. We're going to put some new lighting in here, and I'm going to adjust my lighting. If I'm going to be streaming every week, I'm going to do it. So you'll see gradual changes over time. You'd like to see a better FOV on the Quest 2. I miss the FOV on the Index. The Index is great. Do I think the Deca Gear is too good to be true? Yeah, it's come up a bunch of times. I think I'm skeptical they can deliver what they promise. I'm quite skeptical. Zed, so kind of what you said, Facebook's overpopulated with grandma memes and stuff. Facebook did not have the not Gen Alpha, they're too young, but it didn't have most of the current teens are not signing up to Facebook. They're signing up to TikTok, but not Facebook. So, because Facebook just isn't cool to the current generation. And this is their way to suck you in. They know a lot of 13 to 20-year-olds are going to buy one of these, and they're going to have to have a Facebook account. So that's how they sucked you in. Let's see. Quest 3. What about? People say Quest 3. Who knows what they'll throw at us? I talked a lot about my fears on Facebook. They're going to lock you into their ecosystem. So if they kill your Facebook account, you'll lose all your games. So this is a great deterrent like Apple does. They lock you into the ecosystem. So you never want to leave. So from now on, you'll only want to use Facebook products. They'll lock you into the ecosystem. They also kind of hold your game collection at hostage. Oh, you think you're walking away from us? Say goodbye to all your games. So I don't like that. I've obviously had on the YouTuber content creator front, I've had some issues with them. I'm not going to go into that now. I think some of you guys know that history, but I've had some issues there. So yeah, I don't like a lot of the things Facebook's doing, but this was a power play. A great headset at $300. It's a power play. You'd like to see a better FOV in Quest 3. Okay, that's what I missed. Yeah, I'd like to see one too. It needs to be a little bit bigger. I have a big question to ask. If the Deca Gear tracks eye movement, can it also do dynamic in-game software-focused focal points? So we covered this. I don't know why I decided to read your question in the dramatic voice. In a world where the Deca Gear... What? My voice sounded really weird there. My voice was doing a reverb. In a world where the It's doing it again. Anyway, so I've lost my mind officially. No, it doesn't do... It does very simplistic eye tracking, so it just kind of locates where your pupils are looking for in-game gesturing. So winking at someone or looking and doing stupid faces. It does that, but it won't be able to do dynamic foveated rendering or anything like that. People are laughing at me. I deserve to be laughed at. I heard People's Quest 2 getting bricked. Is that something to worry about? Okay, Bob the Builder. We discussed this in some previous Q&A series. When it comes to before you get a Quest 2 or a Quest or whatever, they recommend you check that you have a Facebook account and everything's in order. So people were running into two scenarios. They already had an Oculus account. They went and made a Facebook account and immediately merged it, like right after the account was created. For some reason, this triggered the detection system to see if the accounts are fake, and you got locked out of your account and you couldn't access your games and you couldn't use your Quest 2 until this was straightened out. I wouldn't say bricked, because bricked generally implies permanently broken. Your account was suspended and you lost access to your games. And yes, indirectly you couldn't use your Quest 2. But I wouldn't say bricked, okay? I've had issues with that term in the past on my channel too. Anyway, so that was one scenario where this happened. The other scenario was, people who've had like inactive Facebook accounts that they haven't used in like years, didn't log into the account, and then just went to merge it, and that also flagged the system. Facebook acknowledged this was happening, and Facebook said, call our 24/7 support line and we'll fix these. That's the status. Oh, Marco, we're talking about the sub-pixel array. I love this conversation, the OLED. So people have asked, I'm going to sound like a broken record for the people who hear a lot, but the OLED panel, I'm one of those people who I'm not really susceptible to the deep black levels. Susceptible doesn't make a difference for me. So again, going to go through this really fast. Color is an interpretation. It happens in your brain. That's why years ago we had that whole, what color is the dress scenario? Is it gold and white or is it black and blue? And I was one of the people who saw it incorrectly. So maybe that's why I don't, I don't see an issue with the OLED. But I do definitely see the difference in the sub-pixel array. So I much rather have that less screen door effect because the black levels don't bother me. Some people say I'm totally lying. How do you not see the difference? What's wrong with you? I really don't. The index, people complain about the black levels. Turn up the brightness a little bit. Sounds counterintuitive. It works. Trust me. And you're good. You're good to go. The black levels aren't bad. How does it work? What happens is your eyes adjust and your brain makes assumption on what's a shadow and what's not. So you begin to see things differently. Give you a perfect example. If you go out and get a swatch for paint, whatever color it is, say, red, take a piece of electrical tape, put it right down the middle. All of a sudden, the bottom half looks a darker red than the top half because your brain thinks the bottom half is a shadow because your brain is stupid. Do it. Trust me. Okay. You can use the same account on multiple headsets, okay? Yes, you can. I honestly, conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat, I think for a hot minute, they're like, yeah, no, let's not let them do that. Let's not let them do that. Yeah, then they'll have to buy more headsets or something. And I honestly, for a second, I thought they're like not going to let you do it. And then they're like, oh my God, no, the backlash is terrible. No, throw Ted from support under the bus. That guy spoke out of turn. You can do it. You're fine. Let's see. So the OLED, the new Samsung technology that is 10,000 megapixels or whatever the heck it was. I mean, when it gets here, you'll see it in a prototype TV probably within like 2 years. Then it'll be like a $20,000 TV, and then like 5-10 years it'll be commonplace, and then it won't be as exciting anymore because there's always steps in technology. People talk about the upcoming technology and like it's gonna blow your mind, but you don't realize you're walking metaphorically up steps the whole time. You're seeing the small improvements. So when you get to that big technology, it never blows your mind because you saw every increment on the way there. What color is the dress? I have to bring it up. Oh, there it is. There it is. So let's see. We can do this dopey game. I'll get it on the screen, and we can do this dopey game. I'll do a million of them. Whee! Okay, what color is the dress, guys? What color is the dress? You could just say in the chat, what color are we looking at this dress? Okay? Then we'll go back to my beautiful face for a second. Let's see. Is 64 gigabytes enough? Okay. Honestly, the Quest 2 games are gonna swell in size. I think once you install it, Saints and Sinners is 9 gigs. So you also need a tiny bit of space for the OS and stuff like that. So I put 18 games on this, and I am at 60 gigs with 18 games on. But the newer games might be bigger, so you know. But if every game was the size of Saints and Sinners, you can only install 6 games. So what does that sound like to you? For me, I went for the 256. Oh, and now it's gold. So blue and black, and now it's gold. See? Why do I see white and gold? But the back is... See? Okay. See, this is the whole scenario. So maybe a lot of you guys are younger here, and you didn't live through that day of internet madness. But that dress is actually blue and black. That dress is actually blue and black. Let me say this... yes, blue and black, I think, because I see it wrong. But let me say this one last time. The dress is actually blue and black, and a lot of us see white and gold, because colors and interpretation happens in your brain. Apparently, I've read the reasoning behind this is our brain is interpreting the light in the background as the sun, and we think we're viewing this under bright daylight, and our brain is adjusting the colors to assume what it should look like. It's trying to filter out sun glare for us. Stupid brain. And we're seeing it wrong. See, Whiptide, I mean, I'm going to assume you're a younger dude and you didn't live through this. It's not white and gold. It's literally not white and gold. Furraw, what's going on? Hi, welcome. It's I wish it was, because I see white and gold, but it is not white and gold. They said there was also like a potential scenario between if you're a day person or a night person that has the potential to impact the way you see those colors. Hey, I'm glad you caught me live too. Thanks for putting you on to the Deca Gear. I hope I didn't sell it, because, you know, I'm talking about it. I tend to be very gray in my discussions, and even in my videos, I try to remain objective and just throw in my opinion here and there. But if they can do what they promise, it will be awesome. Laurel and Yanni is another one when it comes to sound. A big impact in Laurel and Yanni is also priming. If I tell you, hey, this sounds like Yanni, that's what you'll hear. But if I tell you, hey, this sounds like Laurel, that's what you'll hear. In most cases, that's priming. I primed you for something. So that can set you off. But yeah, Deca Gear is wow, if it happens. CZ, isn't that crazy? You see white and gold, right? This is crazy. I love you guys. I mean, see, this is the knowledge you get from old folks like me. You guys didn't live through that craziness on the internet. That was probably like 6-7 years ago. Maybe a little less. Maybe. Somewhere between 6 and 3 years ago that happened. That dress nonsense. I'm trying to see if there was a date on the picture, but I don't see it. So guys, I'm going to go. I need to take the quickest of break. I promise I will be right back. Sincerely. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back 1 second. I have to tinkle really bad. But look, I finally have a be right back screen. Look. Okay? I promised you. I promised you. Okay? Woo! Whoa! Oh, it's coming out my eyeballs. If I was going to be on for another 30 minutes, I couldn't handle it. He caved to peer pressure. No, we needed that. What's pink and green, Grumpy Duck? You just saying nonsense now? VR change. We are not going to do any political talk here. Okay? The whole... that's... all right? That's more surreal than the Deca Gear. Magenta and rainbow. Are we just naming our favorite colors? Black and red. Oh, it was boring. Okay. You're watching a live stream about a VR headset while I still don't know anything about them. Still enjoying this. Well, I mean, great. I mean, these live streams are just Q&As to answer your questions. And I'll be honest, you guys have been supporting me really well on these. Like, unbelievably well. And I don't know why, but I do appreciate it. I'm just checking something. Some of my I don't want you guys hearing chat in the background. Some of my technology mobobs aren't working perfectly. So I was just clicking stuff and being technical. This is how I do my job. All right. So let's see. Darth Vader is absolutely going to win. Full script for the win. Okay. Moving on. There shall be no discussion. So number one or number two. That was a peepee. If I did a number two that quick, that'd be impressive, man. That would be freaking impressive. Do you remember me? I donated to you, and you made me, the chat moved. I'm gonna assume you made me uncomfortable. Yes, Super Vivens. I do remember you, and you did make me uncomfortable. Cause donations are a weird scenario. I explained them last time. I always appreciate them. They kind of make the stream, in a way slightly more worthwhile. It's like an instant gratification type thing, but I always feel bad because I'm like, why? Why would someone send some random dude on the internet? What am I providing you that's worth those bucks that you want to send me? I appreciate it so much, and I guess that makes me feel good because like someone values me to the point that they put a monetary value on me, which is impressive. But it's still weird, and I don't want people who can't donate to feel like they're getting less attention because I give that person attention. And I'd hate to be in a position where I need those donations. I'd love to do this full time, but I can't. And if I did it full time, I would need those I would probably need those donations, and that whole scenario makes me go crazy. And don't you hear the hamster going on the wheel? Okay. Do I have a favorite VR game? I could get cliche for a moment, which is say, Half-Life Alyx, which is a fantastic game. It's one of the best made VR games. I jumped into it recently, and it's just it transports you to a new world. It's unbelievable in terms of how well it handles VR. I like Until You Fall. If you want one that's not really heard of as much, I really like Silicon Rising. Indie game, fairly generic, I want to say. It's not cutting edge. Doesn't do anything special, but it's got great graphics. It's a cool shooter. I like it. I like Space Pirate Trainer. It's my favorite wave shooter. Population's pretty cool. I don't like Battle Royale games, but I definitely like Population 1. Would I say it's my favorite? Probably not. But yeah, I mean, I'd have, my brain, I'd have to activate my brain, and we know how that goes. Don't you see the smoke? I've tried a really old beta build of Sorrento, and I wasn't blown away. But I did the same scenario with Gone. People are like, Gone's amazing. I played a very early beta, and I was like, nah. So it left a bad taste, and I never tried. And there's just so many games now. I have a video where I go through 110 games in my library. And I'm going to be updating it for next year, which will probably be 200 games at that point. And I rank every single game. Asgard Wrath, that's another phenomenal game. Silicon Rising is cool. So let's see. Asgard Wrath, Saints and Sinners is really good. Boneworks is fantastic. Just the sandbox. Blade and Sorcery is cool for a sandbox, but I like bone works better. You know, I do blade and sorcery with full body tracking and walk around like jump kicking guys. That's always fun. Super Hot is really good, but it's like 90 minutes long. And unless you want to replay levels, you know. H3, everyone always recommends H3. And I got to say, like, I have it and just haven't got around to try it. I have a backlog that's horrendous. You want to get a headset on your B-day. But my family said that VR damages your eyes and can damage your brain. I don't believe them. Damage to the eyes is possible. I believe if you have certain like genetic predispositions or you have some type of issue already, VR can accelerate your eyesight loss. Like if you have a condition that will lead to eyesight loss, VR has the potential to maybe accelerate it. You know, honestly, I think with all the people I know in the community, all the YouTubers and stuff, if it was detrimental to eyesight, at least one of them at this point would have been like, guys, my eyes are going to shit. And no one has done that. But again, that's anecdotal. Who knows? So blue light, well, I wouldn't say blue light damages your eyes. Blue light, so that's your, what is that? I always forget the word. Your, starts with a C. Circadian rhythm. So that's like your day and night cycle, your brain's day and night cycle. Your brain produces, certain chemicals like melatonin to regulate when you feel tired, when you should go to sleep, stuff like that. Blue light messes that all up. And I'm all about blue light. I'm just sucking it in all day. Give me all that juicy, good blue light. So my brain's just screwed up. What's a good budget to get into VR? If you don't have a PC and you want to get in right away, Oculus Quest 2 with an Elite strap, I recommend it. I think the default strap stinks, but try it yourself and see if it's comfortable. $350, you're getting good quality VR. And if you have a PC, you can use a link cable and play some games. If you need a PC and you're looking for the budget on a PC, probably a few $100 you can get into VR. I said earlier, you want something with a fairly good, if you're going to go like older CPU, you want a fairly higher end CPU that's at least within the last 3 generations. And I recommend a RTX 2060 or greater. That'll let you play anything. You talk about a PC that's in, $700 range. Maybe. People could probably do it for a lot less. I would spend more. We're all over the place. VR is getting funny? Maybe. I mean, VR chat scares me. Kurt, I am excited for the Deca Gear also, my friend. I'm very excited for it. I just, hope it happens. And I hope I actually get sent the prototype. And I can show it to you guys live. So, again, there's a space consideration when it comes to VR. Obviously not everybody has a scenario like this. Let's see. Any rumblings about the Quest 2 jailbreak going public soon? No rumblings. Due to the legal might of Facebook, it's going to be quiet for a while. People don't want to get sued up the yin-yang. I mean, look, PlayStation just shut down somebody who was making custom faceplates for the PlayStation 5. Custom faceplates for the PlayStation 5. PlayStation shut down this website. They said, we consider the faceplate our intellectual property. If you continue to sell modified faceplates or custom faceplates, we will take legal action. It's a freaking faceplate, man. Who cares? Jeez, this world. You trust me to review it? Well, I appreciate that. What's a good budget VR headset would you recommend? Quest 2. Quest 2. Let's see. You disappointed in the Quest version of VR chat? I don't blame you. Listen, you can play VR chat with a latest and greatest CPU, and a 3090 RTX 3090, and still get massive frame dips in that game. So VR chat's just something. Imagine if car manufacturers sued wheel companies for making wheels on their cars. I don't know, man. The world is crazy these days. Like if they can get a patent on their farts, these companies would do it, and then walk by someone and be like, "That smells like my fart." You're getting sued. I don't know. VR chat's programmed in. I don't know. I'm not a big social VR person. I've played VR chat and Neos a minimal amount. Minimal. I can't make a recommendation. Oh, I'm getting tired. That's my fart, bro. See? Yeah, well, another thing, though, about VR chat that, runs the risk, why, performance might be so terrible. You have all the custom-made stuff, and people aren't looking for optimizations. They're just making stuff. Rec Room is solid. I enjoy Rec Room. It's a good game. I haven't played it in a while, though. I used to play it a lot early on when there was just nothing else to play. But now I can't keep up. Deca Gear might make VR chat a little bit more interesting. Yeah. I mean, VR chat is pretty cool because, like, you see people do sign language in VR chat. And based on the controllers you have, they have, they have modified sign language because you can't do full finger tracking. Then you come across someone with the index and they can do full finger tracking. They do full sign language, which is just wild. So I used to run a big screen room every once in a while. It's something I wanted to do, but I don't have the free time. Maybe I'll consider it. But I want to run a big screen room and just like watch the latest shows. Now that big screen connects to a Plex server, which I run in my house, it's great, man. Like I was sitting next to my wife yesterday. She was watching some dopey nonsense on TV, and I just slapped this thing on and started playing stuff from my Plex server. And I think I was watching like The Mandalorian or something. Marvel Powers United, man, and that game's still going. Does it have any player base? I played Marvel Powers United when it first released, and I was so disappointed. Like, it just felt like a grindy, boring nothing. I felt the mechanics stunk, and like if you played as Doctor Strange or Star-Lord, it felt exactly the same. Yeah, big screen will connect to Plex now. Yep. Do I think VR is the future? I think it'll get bigger and bigger over time, but nothing's going to ever completely replace flat screen gaming, I don't think. Until, like, maybe if you go 50, 60, 100 years to the future, and everyone has, your Elon Musk brain chip, and it's like Black Mirror. You just, put this little bead on your head, and you're like, boop, and you're in a virtual world. Well, in that scenario, yeah, those will replace flat gaming, and that would be like super VR. Hey, Mike, you can get the details of the Deca Gear. We went through them earlier. It's deca.net. So we went through them earlier. Let's see. So yeah, that's like a full dive system. So we went through all these specs. There's a couple specs that aren't listed here that you can find from MRTV. He did a live stream interview with the team, and he did a summary video. But it's 2 cameras for face tracking, inside out controller tracking, a little dig at Facebook, this hip based movement system. Yeah, do you hear me winging the mouse? All right, I think, guys, I'm starting to lose my voice from 2 hours of talking. So I think we're going to call it, guys. If you have any final questions, throw them out there right now. I'm going to just cough a little bit with the mic off. Do I have any tips for making videos? So let's see. Can you link the website? Yeah, I'll link the website. And I'll also, hey, look at that. That's my site. You guys are still watching my screen. Duh. I hate when I do that. No, if it's just constant talking for 2 hours, like if I was playing a game or something, I could keep going, but the constant talking, sometimes I can't do it. Let me link the website for you guys, and then I will tell you a couple things about my channel, and tell you about like giveaways that are going on, and tell you about my Discord, and tell you why I'm awesome and you should watch me. All right, there's the link to the Deca Gear. JT, thank you for the feedback. You would not be able to put the hip-based thing on your foot. It goes on your hip. Let's see. Okay, guys. So I dropped a link to Deca Gear. Let me tell you a few things before I close out for today. You shot me an email. I appreciate it, Darth. Hopefully in January I have the prototype. I might be getting one of the Deca, and I could give you more information. Okay. So, guys, if you've never watched me before, I just started streaming once a week. Okay, I stream once a week, and we do Q&As like this. I turn on the camera, I answer questions for you guys, and I show some stuff. This Friday, I'm actually streaming a game. We're going to be doing Final Assault. I have multiple copies of it to give away. It's an RTS military. Well, it's a little cartoony, but it's an RTS VR title, so you're actually in the battlefield. The company's been making updates for like 2 years, and they said, listen, we think you'll be impressed. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to give you guys a bunch of keys. Also, let's see. If you guys are not members on my Discord, I highly recommend you join, because we do monthly giveaways. Last month we gave away 2 keys for No Man's Sky. All you got to do is be on the Discord. You're entered to win. If you haven't checked out my YouTube channel because you're watching on Twitch, I do recommend you check out my YouTube channel. Nightbot was turned off. He turned himself back on. But I do recommend you check out my YouTube channel. I do the VR news every Monday, a live Q&A on Wednesday, and then some additional content on Friday. So I think we're going to have a video based on the Oculus Quest, what are the best games to play with the link cable, on Friday. And then I'm going to be doing a live stream of Final Assault with multiple keys to give away. So thank you guys for hanging out with me today. It was, I hope I taught you something. I really hope I entertained you. And hopefully one day I can do this full time. There's that Discord link I'll drop again. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to, click on that like, maybe leave some comments. Well, you won't leave the comments on this video now. But go check out my other content. I'm very proud of the stuff I'm putting out lately, guys. I'm really, really proud of it. And the feedback has been great. You guys have been amazing. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Look, we got music on the outro. It's got music. It's got music. I gotta put the spectralizer on this stuff. You want to see me do that live? Do it live. We're gonna add audio visualizer. I'm gonna add this one. Did it live. Boom, 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 boom. Losing my mind, guys. Limitless, thanks for joining, buddy. All right, guys. Until next time, thanks for hanging out. It's been a lot of fun.